Hello, dear committee members of the Heritage Education Network and other participants of this Congress, dear Internet co-participants as well, buenos dias, and thank you for your attention. Today I'm going to speak about Belizean early Maya trade points and cult evidence with local traditional cultures. On my Word file you can find all my details, so please feel free to speak with me after this presentation. A warm thank you to allow me presenting some small aspects of our researches on Mesoamerican early contacts between Belize and central Guatemalan rainforest, but also on early river trade routes such as those still used in the Usumacinta region. Indeed, as always, a better knowledge of earliest cultures goes with a deep knowledge of the local geography and customs of those living in the area we study. I do not have yet local Belizean friends, but I am looking very forward to it after this colloquium, and meanwhile I will wish to present some very useful publications I use for my own researches and how this could be a pertinent multidisciplinary approach study for Belizean and Guatemalan future historical and geographical research projects. Uh, we understand quite clearly from the map of local Maya southern sites that Belize is actually a very rich region of trade contacts for Maya lords and the subsequent allies. Therefore, it seems to be worth investigating which Maya early local cultural points had impact with Belizean regional traditional centers of communication and exchanges. An obvious point to start our research was Mountain Cove, also known as Tsiminkax and Atzka'abkil. One artifact in particular got us into deeper thoughts regarding early Belizean cults and Maya connections. The so-called Atzka'abkil mountain crow axe, currently kept in the Field Museum and excavated in 1931 by one of the most renowned archaeologists of Maya civilization, Sir John Eric Sidney Thompson, and in particular the article of David Moramarin gave us very interesting insight. Quite obviously, we can observe clearly that Mayas had important trade connections towards Belize, and it seems to us really useful to trace which geographical and cultural exchanges were then built and can still be found even in modern times. We selected a few elements for our presentation. 1. Maya statues or fragments of cult devotion found in Belize. 2. Local Belizean legends and early ethnographic materials on rivers and waterfalls. 3. How to organize cultural expeditions on early Maya territories through Belizean trails as well as focusing on Olmec's remains. This short scheme allows us to focus on the most important phases of the contacts and see how these two civilizations viewed their own territories in connection with each other, and not entirely separated as some scholars try to explain. Chronologically, Olmecs preceded Maya, but that doesn't mean they were not in touch with earlier Belizean and South Guatemalan cultures. Indeed, we must proceed diligently when assessing which were the first outposts of Olmec civilization in this region. To learn much more on this fascinating part of early Mesoamerican complex history, there is an excellent resource I recommend to everyone, and it's a wonderful website made uh, by a very interesting specialist, ambiersquiscade.com, pages Maya, Mayan science.html. We show you now some key answer sites, which material we can expect to find and where we made some interesting discoveries. We can understand that many of early Olmec and Mayan training of sacred places are directly connected to each other. First in reason of access to water resources, but also in relation with jade and obsidian locations of exploitation. Lamanai, in particular, contains a very interesting so-called Olmec sun god temple of a mask. And here I would like to quote a small article related to Lamanai and the structure number 956, in which huge marks are quite unusual as they are carved limestone rather than molded stucco, which was far more common for large species during this period. The masks that are thought to represent one of Lamanai's early rulers. He wears a crocodile headdress, which further supports the idea that the city was called Lamanai all through the classic period. The masked features characteristic of Olmec influence, such as the rubbery lips with an upturned top lip and wide, so-called African nose. Structure number 956 was unfortunately demolished and then rebuilt to a mortuary temple in the middle of the 5th century after Christ. The burials were of a male and a female, with a male burial containing a large number of jade artifacts, which could indicate a trade network with Hoppan or Quirigua, or at least the people of that region, as the burials date approximately to the same cities when the time were founded among the chain mines of Guatemala. And it would be excellent, of course, if further excavations were done precisely around the Lamanai area, but clearly there are connections with early Olmec traditions and trading activities. And if committee shows the word file I sent with you, you will see the beautiful Lamanai structure. Sensor you can see just below explains quite clearly which gods and natural creatures were worshipped back then around Lamanai. Here I would like to thank Mr. Robin Hayworth for great photography done in 2002. And after this, there is an interesting element that means why crocodiles were an important aspect of ritual cults in Belize and possibly as well as in southern Yucatan region. In association with crocodile worshipping in Maya times, we must think especially about Izamna, because this crocodile, clouding, transforming wizard and foreteller god could take many forms, and among them, those of a crocodile or a sort of two-headed winged snake with both creatures. Indeed, in some Maya language, Izamna means caiman, lizard or large fish, and the Iz part remembers of a number of things, among them dew, or stuff of the clouds, but also divination or witchcraft in colonial Yucatec, and foreteller and contemplate. And obviously he has many names, and among them Hidzam Kabhain, the Hidzam of Cayman. By the way, Zamna is very important in later Maya codices, and we intend soon to bring some new evidence on the Hidzam worship aspects between Maya and Olmec cults, but quite clearly the god Hidzam had many forms which were incarnations of water animals and crocodile in particular. We could make any other information on your topic, but these are the main elements we wish to discuss with all the participants. Thank you for your attention and look very forward to your comments and suggestions. Good luck to everyone, and please free to contact us during this session or by email and WhatsApp anytime you like. Thank you very much. Muchas gracias. Thank you, and looking forward your reply.